You wake up this morning, you grab your coffee, you scroll your phone, and somewhere between your emails and Instagram, you think, I want to do something that actually matters. 4,500 years ago, a group of people thought the exact same thing. The difference? Their work is still standing. Time's yours and mine. Probably won't survive next Tuesday. This is the Great Pyramid of Giza, the oldest of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the only one still standing. And I promise you, once you understand what actually went into building this thing, you will never look at human potential the same way again. Stay with me, because this story gets wild. The civilization. Before we talk about the pyramid, we need to talk about the people who built it. Close your eyes for a second. Picture a world with no internet, no electricity, no steel, no cranes, no machines, just the Nile River, a vast desert, and a civilization that refused, absolutely refused, to think small. Ancient Egypt was not some primitive desert tribe. These were sophisticated, brilliant people. They had mastered agriculture. They had a writing system, a legal system, a medical system. They were performing surgery thousands of years before modern medicine even existed. But what truly set Egypt apart was its belief system. Times, for ancient Egyptians, life on Earth was just the opening act. Death wasn't an ending. It was a doorway. Times, a transition into something eternal, something greater. And if you were the pharaoh, the living god on Earth, your job was to make sure that transition was legendary. Times. That's where the pyramid comes in. The Great Pyramid was built for one man, Pharaoh Khufu, also known as Cheops. He ruled Egypt around 2560 BCE. Here's what's wild about Khufu. We actually know very little about him personally. The only confirmed portrait we have of the man who commissioned the greatest construction project in human history is a tiny 3-inch ivory figurine. That's it, 3 inches. But what he left behind, time speaks louder than any statue ever could. And the man he chose to design it was his own nephew, an architect named Hemiunu. Hemiunu wasn't just talented, he was a genius operating centuries ahead of his time. He calculated load distribution, internal chamber positioning, structural integrity, without a single computer, without a single calculator, just a mind and a mission. Now, let's talk about what they actually built. 345 to 515, the numbers, because these numbers are genuinely insane. Times 2.3 million stone blocks. Let that number sit for a second. 2.3 million, times each block weighing 2 to 3 tons on average. That's a full-size pickup truck. Some of the granite blocks deep inside, 50 to 80 tons. That's a fully loaded semi-truck, lifted and placed with absolute precision, hundreds of feet in the air. The base covers 13 acres. That's roughly 9 football fields. And here's the part that makes every modern engineer put their head in their hands. The entire base is so perfectly level that the difference in height across all 9 football fields is less than 2.1 centimeters. 2 centimeters across a 9 football field base in the desert 4,000 years ago. And the orientation, the entire structure aligns to true north with an accuracy of just 0.05 degrees of error. No GPS, no satellites, no digital instruments, just pure human observation of the stars and an obsession with getting it exactly right. This isn't primitive, this is extraordinary. How was it built? So the big question, how did they actually do it? Times, here's what research tells us. Limestone blocks were quarried from deposits less than a mile away. Granite for the inner chambers was brought from Aswan, 800 kilometers away, transported by boat down the Nile. We know this because in 2013, archaeologists discovered an actual ancient papyrus diary, written by an inspector named Mera, documenting stone deliveries to the pyramid site in real time. A 4,500-year-old work log, still readable, still telling us secrets. On land, blocks were loaded onto wooden sleds. Workers poured water onto the sand in front of the sled. Wet sand cuts friction dramatically. We have wall paintings showing workers doing exactly this. For the vertical climb, ramps. But here's where it gets interesting. A straight ramp tall enough to reach the top would require more building material than the pyramid itself. A spiral ramp on the outside would have blocked the builders' sightlines, making their precise alignment impossible. Some researchers believe there was an internal ramp system, built right inside the pyramid as it rose. Is that confirmed? No. Times is it still being debated by the world's top archaeologists? Absolutely. Times, and in 2024, scientists mapped a previously unknown extinct branch of the Nile River that once flowed directly past the pyramid site. The Egyptians used this waterway to transport millions of tons of material, a river that disappeared thousands of years ago. And we only found it 2 years ago. Times every year. New answers, every year new questions. The workers, the truth. Now let's kill one of the biggest myths in all of history. The pyramids were not built by slaves. I know, Hollywood absolutely lied to you. In 1988, archaeologist Mark Lehner discovered an entire worker city near the pyramid site called Hayt el Garab. Real neighborhoods, real homes built from mud brick, bakeries, breweries, medical facilities, a harbor, administrative offices, storage centers. This wasn't a slave camp. This was a functioning city. And the food? Archaeologists found 175,000 animal bones at the site. Researchers estimate that over 4,000 pounds of meat, cattle, sheep and goats, were slaughtered every single day to feed the pyramid builders. As lead archaeologist Richard Redding put it, these workers probably had better diets than people in their home villages. Workers were organized into rotating crews of 10 to 20 men. They worked 2 to 3 month shifts, then went home. Their crews even had names, like Friends of Khufu, carved right into the stones. And when they died, they were buried with honor, with jars of beer and bread for the afterlife. Right at the foot of the pyramid they helped build. These were skilled, respected, proud Egyptian workers. People who knew, in their bones, that they were part of something that would outlast everything. And they were right. The secret's still inside. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. In 2015, thermal scanning of the pyramid detected unexpected heat anomalies at the base. Certain stones were significantly warmer than others. No one has fully explained why. Then in 2017, scientists from Japan, France, and international institutions used cosmic ray imaging to peer through solid rock. And they found something. A massive hidden void above the Grand Gallery, at least 30 meters long, the size of a commercial airplane. No known entrance, no recorded purpose. One researcher from Nagoya University called it, definitely the discovery of the century. And it gets deeper. In 2023, a follow-up scan revealed a hidden corridor just behind the north face of the pyramid. Scientists inserted an endoscope through a crack and saw it for the first time. Egyptian archaeologist Dr. Zahi Hawass said it could potentially lead to the real burial chamber of Khufu, a chamber no one has ever entered, a chamber that may have been sealed for 4,500 years. We have been studying this structure for centuries. Modern science can see through mountains, and the pyramid is still keeping secrets. Why haven't we built anything like it since? Here's a question that genuinely haunts me. We have cranes, computers, laser-guided tools, GPS, steel, concrete, everything. Could we build the Great Pyramid today? Technically, probably yes. But here's the uncomfortable truth. We never have. No government, no civilization, no billionaire has ever committed that level of human coordination, collective belief, and sheer unified will toward a single monument. Because what made the pyramid possible wasn't just engineering, it was faith. Times an entire civilization, tens of thousands of people who genuinely believed that what they were building mattered beyond their own lifetime. Times that their work would carry someone across the threshold of death itself. That's the rarest resource in human history. And it may be the one thing we've actually lost. The closing mirror, the Great Pyramid of Giza, is still standing. After 45 centuries of earthquakes, floods, grave robbers, conquering armies, desert storms, and the passage of time, still standing. Every person who has ever stood at its base, from Napoleon in 1798 to tourists today, has felt the same thing. Small, times, not in a bad way, in a humbling, electric, wake-you-up kind of way. Because the pyramid doesn't just tell you about ancient Egypt. It asks you something. What are you building? What are you leaving behind? What would people find 1,000 years from now that proves you were here? That proves your life meant something times. A man who lived 4,500 years ago is still talking to us today, through limestone, through granite, through sheer, stubborn, magnificent human will. The pyramid was built by people who believed their work would last forever. And they were right. Times. The question is, do you believe that about yours? History isn't just something that happened. Times. It's a challenge, carved in stone. Times. And it's been waiting 4,500 years for your answer. Times. End.